Hi everybody, welcome to Little Bohemians. My name's Khadijah Anderson. Just a quick background on me. I have 18 years experience in early childhood education. The first 8 I worked in large daycare centers, including toddler rooms, and in preschools as a preschool teacher. And then for the last 10 years I've had my own small in-home daycare called Little Bohemians Daycare, and I've worked with a very small group of children. 4 children at a time is my max, even though I'm licensed from between 6 and 8 children. So today's vlog is going to be about illness. Illness is a tricky thing, and I've got my book here, the Daycare Bible, just a little plug. You can find it on my website, or maybe I'll put a link in the comments section to it. This is it's called A Comprehensive Guide to Choosing a Daycare for Your Child Birth to Age 3. But there's a lot more information in here. I mean, this is a parenting book as well. I give a lot of information for parents, so even if you're not planning to use a daycare or childcare, this might be useful to you. I go over a lot of things that I'm going to cover in my vlog. And one of the things today that I thought I'd cover is illness. Because like I said, it's a complicated thing, and right now in my daycare we have a child who's ill, and I'll go into that in a little bit. So I thought this will be an appropriate time to talk about illness. In my book I give a lot of anecdotes, and I give you a copy of my illness policy that's in my little care fee agreement that I have parents sign when they join us here at Little Bohemians. But basically I kind of wanted to talk to you about what to look for if you're thinking of sending your child to childcare, and are they sick or are they not? Are they too sick to go to daycare? Are they not? And also, if you're not sending your child to daycare, you have an outing plan with some friends, you're going to take them to a kids museum or like an enclosed play space. Here's some things to watch out for that you might not want to take them. And believe me, there's nothing as frustrating as having big plans and then your child gets sick. I'm a mom. I have 4 kids, age 30, 27, 20, and 13 now. So I've had this happen to me numerous times. I understand how frustrating it is, but kind of got to look at the bigger picture, and this is what this is about. So about a year and a half ago, I had my daycare kids got sick one after another. Even though I only keep 4 children, we wash hands constantly throughout the day. I'm really conscientious to be sure that children who are mouthing toys either have their own toys to mouth when they're little enough. After about a year old, developmentally, they don't need to mouth toys anymore. So I try to encourage them out of your mouth, take things out of their mouth, and then I make sure that if a child is really insistent on mouthing a toy, that another child doesn't just then take it and maybe copy them and put it in their mouth. I'm kind of a germaphobe, actually, working with little kids, but I don't get sick. I haven't missed a day of work for 10 years due to illness. So, that's one of the things here we do constantly is wash hands, and I'll talk about that as well. But basically, what happened a few years ago, or like a year and a half ago, is that my daycare kids all got sick. I think maybe 2 of them got sick initially, and then it sort of cycled through all the kids. And then what happened is it came back again. So the kids started getting sick all over again. I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't the flu, but it was maybe some really bad cold. But, I had kids out, and then they were out again, and this was crazy. And I said, and I think like sort of the tipping point was that I started getting sick. And again, like I don't want to be sick, and I certainly don't want to miss work because I have someone now that can help me out with my daycare, but I didn't back then, so it was just me, and I was not going to get sick. So I thought a lot about what was going on, and I told my parents, let's try this. Let's say that if a child has any sort of symptoms that seem like they're getting sick, let's keep them home. Okay, so at first my parents kind of freaked out. They said, but I have to work. What if I have a meeting and oh my gosh, I can't. And I said, let's do it as case by case situation, and we'll see it. This isn't written in stone. We're going to experiment because we have to do something differently. Because as it is, my illness policy already is pretty in stone, but I'll talk about my illness policy in a minute. I know I'm bouncing back and forth. So back to the story. So what happened was the next time a child got sick, the parent texted me and said, okay, so-and-so has, a pretty bad runny nose and they're a little bit grumpy. What do you think? And I said, sounds like you need to keep them home. Because number one, a bad runny nose, I have to wipe their nose and then wash my hands. If they're a child that just lets it run down their face, that's not so bad because I can go get it. But most children do this. Most children. And then here they go grabbing for a toy. Oh, this is how germ spread happens, okay? And it's really impossible to keep an environment really germ-free when you have children. So I said, okay, keep that child home. So that happened, and then, whatever, that happened. And then the next time a child got sick, same thing. The parent texted me, oh gosh, there's a cough. What do you think? I said, a cough? It's supposed to be super cold and rainy today, so we're going to be inside all day. Can you please keep them home? We don't want coughing. That sends a lot of germs out into the atmosphere, and everybody's going to be breathing it in this room. If it was a day where we were outside all day, I would have been maybe, well, let's bring them and see how they do. But I was like, no, please don't bring them. So what happened is that the parents started noticing, and I started noticing, that the kids who stayed home right away when they were first coming down with an illness, they got better really fast, okay? They got better so much faster that actually the parents didn't lose as much time at work because they could bring their kids back to me quicker. So I sort of put this into my policy. Zero tolerance, zero tolerance. Colds are not us, was sort of the title of my email, saying, okay, you guys, we're gonna really clamp down on this. And parents were very happy with it. So my daycare policy, and this is really sort of boilerplate, most places, child care centers, even some schools will tell you this is really sort of traditional, is no fever, no vomiting, no diarrhea for 24 hours before you bring your child back, okay? Because you've got to give it 24 hours because maybe they're just sort of calming down and then they're going to have another spike or continue to be ill. So that means that when parents come and bring me their child, if I see that they're not feeling well, I automatically take their temperature. And if their temperature is over 99, I send them home. And again, this is because we're trying to be a little preventative here. And every single time I've sent a child home thinking that they're going to be sick, they've turned out to be sick. I've had parents bring children to me and say, they had a fever over the weekend, but it's Monday and they're fine now. And I say, oh, well, when did they have the fever? Well, and they're like calculating in their brain, yesterday morning. All right, I'm not going to call my parent, you're cheating. That's less than 24 hours. But I take them, and sure enough, many times I've had to call the parent later in the day and say, hey, you need to come pick your child up. They're not doing well. So some of the other things to look at, and that goes for diarrhea and vomiting as well. Diarrhea, vomiting, fever. No. They go home, they stay home until they're done. They haven't had an episode for 24 hours. The only thing that would be different is if a child had a fever and the family took the child to the doctor and they gave them antibiotics or something, and then within like 24, 48 hours, then they're cleared by the doctor to come back to daycare. As long as they're feeling like they can play, fine. I know they're not contagious anymore. But if they're still feeling lethargic and sad and they need me to hold them all day, that's not, I don't mind holding children at all. I mean, that's part of what I do. But if they cannot participate in the day with us, then they're too ill to be here. So that could be sort of another guideline for you. How is your child feeling? Is your child super clingy and grumpy and has a runny nose? You might think twice about taking them, to the indoor kid space, play area, to music class where they're going to be putting musical instruments in their mouth and passing it to their friends, or to daycare. So those are some little hints. Let's see, is there anything else I was going to talk about? I think that's all. In page 47, what else is in here? I give a lot of these little anecdotes. I also talk about how to make them feel better. They really need a lot of sleep, and the wiping of noses, I went through that. Okay, I guess that's about it. So again, I'll put information on the Daycare Bible for you, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope your children are happy and healthy, and talk to you next time. Bye.